training the trainer. It really takes a lot of enthusiasm, interest, and perhaps even patience to learn different ways of teaching young children Srimad Bhagavatam. So I thank all of you who have joined. And today I would like to start with a question to all of you. Okay, and I'm expecting that you all unmute yourselves and try and answer or try and give your thoughts and opinions for this question. Okay, so the question is, maybe someone can even type the question on chat box so that when people enter, they are able to see that question on the chat box. So the question is, in the Vedic culture, students mostly listen to their guru. Yes, they listen to their guru speak. So the question is, why do our children argue so much? That's the question. Yes, why do our children argue so much? Whereas in the Vedic culture, we had this, idea or culture of students listening to the guru. So can you all think about it and unmute yourselves and start giving your thoughts and opinions about this?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can I say?
Yes, absolutely.
Mataji, I feel that as parents, we are not trained enough ourselves. As especially if I look at myself as a wife, I'm not very submissive probably to my husband. These days, we treat them more as friends. And that's what, children see. So what they see, they imbibe and then they do the same. So that's where I feel even I lack in a way. Yes,
Mataji. Okay. Anybody else also would like to respond to that answer that Radharani Mataji just gave?
Lot of exposure to internet.
Lot of exposure to internet. Okay.
That also, and they don't have patience. That is lagging. And whatever they ask, immediately they are getting it. So that take as its advantage.
Okay. So whatever ask they get, they are exposed to internet. Yes. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
I feel in this age, we give more importance to visually we are giving more importance, like watching things and analyzing more than hearing. Listening has become very less. So when we switch off the visuality and if we ask our kids to listen to certain audio, they are not very patient enough to listen to that audio. They want visually, they want to enjoy something. So we are giving importance to that.
Okay. Maybe Santoshi Mataji has. Yes, continue. Please continue.
Maybe if we give the practice of listening more, then they'll get that patience of listening first. Maybe because they are not taking it inside, like listening, it's not getting in depth into their senses.
Yes. Right. So for those who have just joined, please note there is a question in the chat box, and all the participants here are giving their opinions about this question. And so Santoshi Mataji says that it's perhaps because they have an argumentative nature because they are not listening so much and they are used to a lot of watching. Hema Mataji, yes.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I feel in those days when the teachers were giving knowledge, they were completely they were very knowledgeable and they were teaching because they really wanted to give the knowledge to others. Maybe now it is just the teachers are coming only for salaries, or it's not their passion or their dream to make children understand.
Okay, interesting. So Hema Mataji has given from the teacher's perspective, in the sense that the answer from the teacher's perspective, she says that mostly it's the that quality that teachers are lacking. Interesting.
And so children become so challenging because their knowledge is not satisfied. That is, they have, as all the others said, they have more exposure. So they are not satisfied with the answers or the opinions given by the teacher. So they start arguing.
Okay, interesting.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Gopal Prabhuji.
So I have on the same lines the way Radharani Mataji spoke, um, the action speaks more than words. So the actions between husband and wife, they are picked up more by the children. So the argument between husband and wife may be picked up by the children as well. So that might be one of the reason.
All right, very interesting. There's an answer
Hare
in the chat
Krishna
box.
Mata.
Also, I request all of you to unmute and speak rather than using the chat box to answer, unless your connection has a problem. Yes, Revati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I feel that there are many aspects in that. One, the exposure, the communication, whatever internet and all those things have put across to the kids. Second, the nuclear family. Then there were grandparents and relatives who can teach when the child goes in the wrong way. They were used to bring them back and tell them the moral and how to go about. And not only that, there used to be a period where the grandparents and aunts and everyone in the family used to sit together, tell stories, and all those caring and family bondage will be there. So they used to be in a submissive way, which is missing very badly now.
Right. An interesting dimension Revati Mataji has brought. She says it's because of the nuclear family, lack of enough people around, and truly enough, it takes a village to raise a child, whereas we have what the village, we don't even have a proper family to raise the child. Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna Mataji.
What else?
That's it, Mataji. As and such exposures are happening in many different ways, even schools, teachers,
Right. Yeah, I got your
every
point.
perspective.
Yes.
That remains the
Nice.
same base, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Does anybody else also have it?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I think most, I felt some points were covered. I feel the lack was the service attitude, because we are not showing any service to either our parents or guru or society or neither of that. And we are not listening to someone where they have to see us and follow. Some places the lack was there. And that the guru submission was not there. They are
Right.
not being in a right mood, in a right place.
Okay, yes, submissiveness, she's saying. Okay, so there is, there is one more here. In the Vedic culture, no, I missed the answer. Someone had answered here. School is fanning argumentative nature of children by organizing debates. Do and die is being taught in the school. Interesting. Okay, so that's another dimension that's coming up, where school is giving you kind of a cutthroat competition. Very interesting answers. Does anyone else also have anything to say, or should we kind of sum up this? If not, I'll move on.
The atmosphere of protest, Madhuri. Children are taught to protest before they are taught about their responsibilities and duties. And rights are discussed a lot these days.
Yeah,
Everything
very
is all about
interesting.
right.
Very interesting. Correct. When you talk about duties and rights, it's the rights that is focused, and duties is kind of to the relegated to the background. Okay, very interesting thoughts. And let's come back to the question. So the question was, in the Vedic culture, students mostly listened, whereas nowadays, what's happening is, there is, children argue. Okay, so I'm quite, I think it's quite obvious that most of us, we look at the change in the mindset of students. But my question was pointing towards this idea that when a student is arguing, yes, I didn't necessarily mean disobedient, impolite, or any such negative connotations, though argue may come there, may be linked with mostly a negative expression. However, arguing, questioning is something which is very much there even in the Vedic culture. So this is what I would like to bring out, that if you see questioning and not accepting very easily, yes, trying to dig further, looking for the right answers and debating, not blindly just saying yes, is very much a part of Vedic culture as well. Yes, and that's actually a sign of intelligence, where you're trying to figure out what is right. Does it convince me? If you look at our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita begins, I mean, also is completely question answer, question answer. And though, of course, we say that Arjuna, he surrendered to Krishna and all that, but he kept arguing so many things even after surrendering. Yes, he said that, no, I can't control this mind. He says it's like the wind. That's, so many points there. He gives, and again in Srimad Bhagavatam, when you come to Srimad Bhagavatam, there is question answer going on for everything. And an interesting section is that between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. When Vidura is questioning Maitreya Muni, there comes an interesting section where, Vidura, he actually asks questions which are very contradictory. He says, so let me just read this question for you. He says, the pure soul is pure consciousness and is never out of consciousness, either due to circumstances, time, situations, dreams, or other causes. How then does he become engaged in nations? This is one question he asks. And the other one says, the Lord as the super soul is situated in every living being's heart. Why then do the living entities' activities result in misfortune and misery? So Shukadeva Goswami is saying, O King, Maitreya, being thus agitated by the inquisitive Vidura, at first seemed astonished, but then he replied to him without hesitation, since he was fully God conscious. So Srila Prabhupada again says in the purport, since the great sage Maitreya was filled with God consciousness, he had no reason to be astonished at such contradictory questions by Vidura. Therefore, although as a devotee he externally expressed surprise, as if he did not know how to reply to those questions, he immediately became perfectly settled and properly replied to Vidura. So I take this as the basis for today's discussion. Yes, that our children will definitely question us, argue with us, debate with us, and they may seem really not submissive. They may seem totally rebellious, but then much depends on how we respond. So I took this as the basis to discuss on where we left last time. We thought we'll talk today about a respectful, engaged, and a responsible group of students or a classroom. Yes, so let me share my slide. Just a minute. Yeah, here it is. Right. So I hope all of you can see the slides. Okay. Yeah, I can see thumbs up. So yes, so this is what we're talking about today. Yes, respectful, engaged, and responsible students. So let us see what is today's session going to, how is it going to be organized? What are the contents of today's session? So we are looking at three main aspects or keys towards this respectful, engaged, students. Here, the first bit is going to talk about, how to earn your students' respect. Second is how to keep them happily engaged. And the third one is how do we help them take responsibility for their own learning. Okay, so respect, engagement, and responsibility. These are the three aspects we are going to talk about. And if you remember, we really wanted to speak about discipline. Yes, so we wanted to speak about discipline, and we wanted to also speak about more ways of teaching. So let's see if we can put in all of this, and we have a very nice, what is that called? It's called as this ras malai sandwich, yes, where you have rasgulla on the top, rasgulla at the bottom, and we have sandesh in between. So let's see if we can manage to do all of that, and you get a good treat. Don't please give me permission to do that. Let's hope we utilize our time properly. All right, so the way we are going to talk is about respect. Our discussion today is completely based on much we draw from His Grace Bhurijan Prabhuji's art of teaching. So we're going to talk about the first point on this particular basis of how teachers can be acting under different modes, okay, different modes of nature. So we all know, this is from the Bhagavad Gita, that there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is free from these three modes, born of material nature. Yes, this is what the Bhagavad Gita says, 18.40. So there is no way we teachers are not an exception to this rule. So we are influenced by the modes of nature, most definitely. So today we would like to see uh, how is it, how can we find that out? Can teaching also be in different modes? What are the symptoms? How do we identify? How do we, how do we plan in such a way that we benefit the students? We are instrumental in doing the maximum benefit for students. That's our objective. So let's begin with these three modes. Let's begin with the lowest mode, teaching in ignorance. And all of it really helps all of us to understand this. Not, we may not be necessarily school teachers, we are teachers in different capacities, yes, at home, outside, everywhere. So let's try and get these things clearly. So the first point that I have mentioned here is they're angry and violent. Yeah. And so these teachers who are in ignorance, uh, they tend to use all their physical strength, and they lose their cool very often. They hurl all kinds of words, and then we know, like one of you all said, that it's example that's most important. Yes, and we lose it there when we set a very wrong precedent or an example in front of students. Also, teachers in ignorance mostly force students to comply to their wishes. Okay, so it's almost like you have made up your mind that I want this done. So there is hardly a thought, a scope for any flexibility. And if it's not met, your needs are not met, the teacher's needs, then what happens? We often tend to humiliate the students because we are unable to see the result. Our need was just that. So we end up humiliating them by hurling all kinds of words which are putting the student down, right? And then what's interesting is teachers, we think that such strictness is actually in the student's interest. It's very important, yes, that we know what's best for the child, and we are only doing it for that. There's no other way, there's no other reason that we are using any of these strict ways, be it bad words, be it physical strength. It's only in the student's interest. But then little we do we understand that such kind of teaching is actually injuring both the students and the teachers' consciousness, most importantly, more than anything else. Yes, the uh, kind of things or memories, that the impressions that the student carries is going to ensure that the student doesn't come back ever, forget to that teacher, even to Krishna consciousness. So teaching in the mode of ignorance is something which is very avoidable. As Bhagavad Gita says very clearly, that action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage of a violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance, right? So this we can see here, this violence, this distress which is caused to others, yes, and that's completely in the mode of good ignorance. Now let's see what happens in the mode of passion then. Now here in the mode of passion, mostly teachers, they take personal offense if students disobey. Yes. So for example, if the student says, "Oh well, you know, I just don't understand this," if the teacher doesn't objectively look at it, but immediately feels that the student is making a personal comment on your teaching style. Okay, and there are frequent mood swings. So sometimes very, very pally with the student, very lovey-dovey and all that, and suddenly it's all like because the student hasn't met the teacher's needs, forgetting who has to meet whose needs. Yes, always assuming and considering that the student has to meet teacher's needs, there are a whole lot of mood swings. And another very very common is envious of other teachers. So these teachers mostly don't like to listen to any kind of appreciation of other teacher, especially from students. If any student talks highly about another teacher, then you feel terrible about it. Yes, and the way we we get into their good books is by putting other teachers down. Feel that, oh, that teacher is like that and this teacher is like, there is a lot of gossip that happens when it is this way. Now this is very relevant even in the homeschooling context. It's not necessarily only in a school setup, or even Sunday school, yes, among devotees, even in the homeschooling setup. This kind of a teacher in passion has the image of sweet, but this may not really benefit the students. So what happens is this teacher, she wants to be in the good books of all students. So rarely will the teacher actually correct the student. That if they correct, then it's mostly again maybe a very impulsive reaction, that kind of correction, but they like to avoid correcting just because it's going to kind of make them look like a bad teacher in front of the students. So we'll see again ahead with more examples how to understand this. So yeah, can someone read this very quickly? Unmute yourself and read this.
The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. Bhagavad Gita 18.27.
Yes, so we can see here, envious, impure, moved by joy and sorrow, mood swings, yes, is said to be in the mode of passion. Thank you. Okay, finally we come to teaching in goodness. Yes, a teacher in goodness is regulated, self-controlled. So, especially because students are watching you. What are you eating? Or, what are you watching? What time do you sleep? All of these things, children are definitely watching. Uh, Teacher is tolerant in the mode of goodness. Now, most importantly is assertive. So how do we understand assertive? Is a teacher in the mode of goodness knows what is right, what is wrong, and sticks to the point. Doesn't give in to the pressure by the students just to be in their good books. So there is a thin line there saying that, okay, when can we flexible? When can we be flexible and when should we be rigid? So it's not about rigidity in terms of being a fanatic, but it's definitely sticking to your principles in a way that you explain, which is very important. You explain what is right, what is wrong. Not that you have to do it because I have asked you to do it. Yes, you do what I say is not a teacher in the mode of goodness. A teacher in the mode of goodness will say, you do what I do, And I will explain you why. That's the difference of a teacher in the mode of goodness who is assertive. And there is a clear communication between the teacher and the student. So in terms of what? Before and after, I say here. What does that mean? Instructions are clear. And if the instructions are not followed, the consequences are also very clear. Whereas in the case of a teacher in passion, instructions may be there, but then if the students don't follow, you don't know what to do about it. Yes, because a teacher in the mode of passion mostly doesn't know what's right, what's wrong. Oh, it can be like this, it can be like that. Maybe students may not like. It's a lot of confusion. Whereas a teacher in the mode of ignorance, if the instructions are not followed, then will react with a revenge, in a very revengeful mode. Yes. Teaching in goodness, however, there is very clear communication. And like I mentioned here, may look tough at the beginning. And this we know is a characteristic of the mode of goodness. Yes, is poison at the beginning and nectar at the end. So this may look tough at the beginning, but brings out great results at the end. When you are teaching children what it means to have perseverance, what it means to be consistent, what it means to be clear, right? And also, this is a very crucial point. Without this, everything else is wasted. When you don't develop a good relationship with students. Now, when I say developing good relationship, doesn't mean merely on the sentimental platform. Yes, so developing good relationship as in acting as a genuine benefactor, yes, of the student. That's what this last point means. And for that, you definitely need to devote time to your students. Yes, we need to invest quality time in them as parents, as teachers. Yes. So now, yeah, can someone read these two verses? So one by one, you can read. Somebody can read the verse, the first verse, and the somebody else can read.
That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. Bhagavad Gita 18.23.
Right. Next one. Yes.
One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. Bhagavad Gita 18.26.
Right. So it's quite clear, right, as to what are the characteristics of a person in the mode of goodness. And we can just juxtapose it for a teacher, right? Similar. Now, we have an interesting participant here. He's Krishna Das, and he has three teachers. Yes, he has three teachers. One teacher her name is Tamasi Mataji, Tamasi Devi Dasi. Another teacher is Rajasi Devi Dasi, and another is Satviki Devi Dasi. So let's see here today what's going to happen with Krishnadas. Yes, Krishnadas as a student. I'm going to stop sharing because we have to see what's Krishnadas doing, and then we will see what these three teachers are going to do. Yes, okay. So let, yeah, there he is. There is Krishnadas, and he's in a class where they're going to encourage students to chant. Yes, and Krishnadas is trying to chant. He starts chanting, but as you can see, well, it's a little hard. Krishnadas is trying his best to sit in one place, dozing off.
Mataji, in initial days, I used to do like this only when the chanting.
Okay, so let's see what his teachers are going to do there. Oh, Tamasi Mataji is entering class to see what Krishnadas is doing, and she is really, really upset. This is Krishnadas. How many times do I have to yell at you? Krishnadas, I've never seen a lazy student like you. Kumbhakarna. Really? If you do that again, Krishnadas, I am going to take away your beads and never ever give them back to you. What is this? Oh, well, well, well. That was Krishnadas trying hard. But Tamasi Mataji was not happy at all. Trying again. Today is the turn of Rajasi Mataji to enter the class. We have Rajasi Mataji as the teacher today. And Krishnadas is again there trying to chant and doze off in between. Krishnadas, why do I always catch you sleeping? Krishnadas, you should know that chanting inattentively will ruin you. What is this? Oh, I think you should just keep away your beads, Krishnadas. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We'll try some other. Oh, well, well. That was Rajasi Mataji. She tried hard. Another day, Krishnadas is again trying to chant. And it's the same. Krishnadas finds it pretty tough. He starts off. And today, Satviki Mataji is going to enter the class. And Krishnadas dozes off. Krishnadas, sit up straight. Don't sleep. Krishnadas is trying, but it's not so easy. After some time, his eyes are shutting again. He's trying. Krishnadas, can you face me and chant? Can you face me and chant? Okay.
Yes,
That's good. Look at me. Let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare
Hare
Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare.
Keep
Hare
continuing like
Krishna,
this. Yes.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare.
Closing again.
Ram, Ram,
Okay.
Hare Hare.
Tried.
Hare Krishna,
Fine.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare.
It goes.
Hare Ram,
Yes.
Ram, Ram,
Krishnadas.
Hare Hare.
Krishnadas. Please wash your face and come back. Please wash your face and come back.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Let me just go wash my face.
Okay, then Krishnadas went, washed his face, and promptly came back.
Washed, Mataji.
Now that's good. Krishnadas, remember, Krishna is your best friend. I know it's hard. All of us feel tired while chanting. Our mind goes here and there. That's right. I also feel it difficult. But you know, Krishnadas, Krishna is our real friend, isn't it? And he really likes it when we chant attentively. So come on, Krishnadas, let's try again together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Oh, that's great. So we see something interesting here. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
That changed his, his posture, his attitude towards japa. But then we are not done yet with Krishnadas. We still have some more to go.
Okay, Mataji. Yes.
It was the scene of chanting, but now we have something else. Oh, we have an argumentative Krishnadas today. We have a student who is going to ask questions. And here the teacher is trying to explain the beautiful Leela of Gajendra Moksha. Yes, she's trying to explain how, let's put him on spotlight. Krishnadas can come back and spotlight. Yes. And here we are, the teacher is telling this beautiful pastime of how this elephant Gajendra, he started praying to Krishna, picked up a lotus and started praying to Krishna fervently. Krishna, Krishna, please protect me.
Mataji.
Yes, Krishna.
Mataji, how can an elephant talk? Like, what kind of stories are these? These are all made up stories. You see, Mataji.
Oh, Tamasi Mataji was
how
not.
can you sell it in 2020, Mataji?
Krishna Das, I know you are a demon. I always felt that. I wonder what kind of parents. Krishna Das, where do your parents stay? How have they brought you up like this? Who's your, well, I don't know how you ask such questions, Krishna Das.
What does
Oh,
my parent have to do with that?
that's it. And Tamasi Mataji has completely ruined it. Now let's see, try again. Krishnadas is gone, lost forever to Tamasi Mataji, who has made a comment on the parent. Let's see if Rajasi Mataji can answer the question. Oh, Rajasi Mataji enters and says, oh, this is how Gajendra, he prayed to the Lord. He picked up a lotus flower and he offered to Krishna. And
Mataji, I don't believe all these stories. I've heard them many times and I really don't believe. I mean, how can an elephant do all these things?
Stop asking such silly questions in class. Just listen. Why do you ask?
Mythology, Mataji.
Oh, you're very offensive, Krishnadas. I think you're very offensive. You just don't like to hear pastimes of Krishna. I think, well, you maybe you should change your class. You know, maybe you should do something else.
Yes.
There we go. We lost Krishnadas again.
That's a good idea, Mataji.
There we lost it. Oh, that's bad. Now let's see if Satviki Mataji can help Krishnadas raise his faith in the scriptures. Okay, so enter Satviki Mataji and says, oh children, do you know how beautifully Gajendra, this elephant, an elephant actually picked up a lotus flower and started praying to Krishna, asking Krishna to help. Krishna, please help me.
Mataji, all these stories sound like fairy tales of childhood to me. I don't believe them anymore.
That's true, Krishnadas. I know sometimes these stories sound like, oh, well, has it really happened ever?
Yeah, of course.
Can you list more such pastimes where it feels like, oh, that's just imagination? Can you list more such stories? Krishnadas, can you think of more?
Mataji, once I heard a story where Krishna is said to have swallowed all the fire. I mean, how can I believe this?
That's
Krishna,
right.
child. And on the top of that, one more story where Krishna is a 7-year child, or some 6 or 7-year-old child, and he is lifting up Govardhana hill, and you know it's huge, so almost next to impossible.
I know. There are so many such stories where we almost begin to wonder, why am I being told all such magical stories which don't even exist? Maybe they're like Harry Potter. Yes, Krishnadas. But you know what? I'm going to show an interesting fact. Are you ready to listen?
Of course, Mataji.
I'm going to share something with you. All right. Just wait for me to share my screen. Give me just a minute and I'm going to give you some very, very interesting facts. Oh, just a minute. It's right here. Oh, I took some time. I should have kept it open.
That's okay, Mataji.
Okay, my computer is playing up. Just a minute. I'm very sorry that I'm taking so long. Yeah, here it is finally. Okay, sorry to keep you waiting for so long, Krishnadas and
That's
others.
okay, Mataji.
Here I am. I'm going to
Yes.
share you this screen, this interesting fact here. I hope you all can see where
Yes,
we
Mataji.
have faith in scriptures and rituals, whether it is actually true. So let me show you this interesting fact. You can check for yourself, Krishnadas, that there is an
Okay.
elephant called Koshik, which is a 22-year-old elephant, lives
Okay.
in zoo in South Korea, and
Mm-hmm.
this elephant actually has an ability to talk. Yes,
Mm.
you can see
Oh,
for yourself. I have given you this link here. Please check it out for yourself and see whether it's
unbelievable, but
happening or
it
not.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interestingly, we are talking about Gajendra, but there are a whole lot of animals which can talk. And while we
Yes.
have heard about the parrots, have you ever heard
Mm.
about an elephant speaking? Just see if you're in South
Yes,
Korea. Please check
Mataji.
it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And I have more. I have more like
Mm-hmm.
this for you. Just look at this. You spoke about the forest fire. Do you know that
Yeah.
some bacteria survive in environments as hot as
Oh, yeah.
130?
Yes. Yes, Mataji. I got to know about it recently. Yes.
So you see, there are quite a few things like this, Krishnadas, which uh,
Mm.
which may be beyond our immediate understanding. Yes, but then you can, with a little research, and then slowly, when you keep hearing about this, I'm sure you will begin to enjoy. Yes, and then
Yes,
finally,
Mataji.
as beyond all this, the the beautiful points that the scriptures talk about, yes, which will help
Yes,
us improve
Mataji.
our life skills. That is what it is, isn't it, Krishnadas?
Yes, Mataji. Exactly. Maybe I need to broaden my mentality and my
Oh,
thought
great,
process.
great, that's
Yes.
good. We'll work towards it together. Fine.
Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Mataji. Thank you
So
so
that
much.
was the second scene about how children may question you about scriptures. But we're not done yet. We are into the third scenario again. Yes, and that will be the last one. When we often we see that we've been hearing that teachers should be friends. Yes, and we know also from Chanakya Pandit that prapte tu shodashe varshe putre mitravat acharet. But then mitravat and mitra, slightly there is a little difference there, in the sense that yes, you should be a friend, but very importantly, you're also the superior who is in the role of a mentor. Never forget that role. Never forget that responsibility. Don't stoop low just to be the friend of your student. Yes. And children, like I said, they have a natural tendency towards gossiping, towards, these kind of things. And so do we. What about children? But as a mentor, we have the responsibility of bringing them back to track. Yes, and let's see how these three teachers, Tamasi Mataji, Rajasi Mataji, and Satviki Mataji, deal with Krishnadas when he is becoming very, very friendly with them. Okay, so that's the scene. Krishnadas back to spotlight. And this time, Krishnadas is beginning a conversation. And he's beginning a conversation with Tamasi Mataji about something very nice. Yes,
Hare,
Krishnadas.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Ah,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I just wanted to tell you something.
yes,
Mataji,
Krishnadas,
can
tell.
you listen to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell.
So, Mataji, that new teacher, Madhvi Mataji,
Uh-huh.
she was watching a movie, and also while I was talking to her, then I got to know that she has watched many movies, and like she likes watching movies. She has
Oh,
mentioned it in
really?
her hobbies. I mean,
Oh my God.
doesn't look good, Mataji. You see, it's a
I
Krishna
know,
conscious
really.
school.
I
Yeah,
know. This is really not nice. What movie was she watching?
Mataji, who knows what kind of
Oh, you
movies?
don't. Oh,
Like,
you didn't see which movie. At least you should have seen
Mat,
that, no,
it
Krishnadas.
was it was something I didn't want to see only, Mataji. I don't
Oh,
like all this.
did you peep in? Did you peep in the window? How did you see?
Yeah, but I could sense Mataji because I could hear the dialogues, and
Oh my God.
of course I saw something was
I
going
think,
on, and
oh,
Mataji
really?
told me. She told me that she was watching a movie.
Acha,
You
time
see?
you ask her which movie she watched and all the, we will just try to find out more
Yeah.
about her. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah, and she'll definitely tell me, Mataji.
oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah.
That was Tamasi Mataji, who got down to the students' level and started gossiping about another teacher who is also trying to serve Krishna. Yes. Now let's see what happens to Rajasi Mataji. She is also being told a similar spicy news. And how does Rajasi Mataji react? Let's hear.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Krishnadas.
I have a masaledar news today.
What is that?
Mataji, you know, our new teacher, she's such a fond of watching movies that she can't help herself while sitting in the staff room. She was watching the movies. I went there for some corrections and she was busy in her movie. I just asked Mataji, what are you watching? And she started talking about movies with me. And I also like, okay, fine, because she was talking, so I was listening. Otherwise,
Oh,
you
Krishnadas,
know,
really?
yeah,
My God, I think you must go and tell the principal. Oh, this is
yeah,
really bad. All this time, the principal thought, oh, she's such a great teacher. Just look at this.
true.
I think you must go and tell the principal. I have been telling the principal about her so much. You know, students think she's a great teacher and all. What
Yeah,
great teacher? She watches movies like this. That too in
yes,
the staff
Mataji.
room. My
Yeah,
God, this is really not right. You know what it is, Krishna conscious school and all, and she's watching
completely.
movies like this. Not right.
Completely
And I,
polluting,
you know,
Mataji,
when
completely
I stop
polluting
watching
the
movies,
atmosphere.
of
Yeah,
course, when I stop watching movies, I don't even remember when I saw a movie last. Oh, my consciousness has to be clear. No, it has to be clean when
exactly.
I'm children. This is
Yes,
just,
Mataji.
you must tell, okay, go and complain to the principal. Okay, Krishna?
Of course, Mataji, I'm gonna tell that. Okay.
All
Don't you
right.
trust me?
So
Yes,
that
Mataji.
was, well. How did that help the student? Did that help the student in any which way? The first situation completely was a disaster. The second situation, was it of any use either? All that the teacher managed was create more disrespect for a teacher. Yes. Now let's see, can Satviki Mataji handle this any better? Okay. So first of all, the student is afraid even to speak about any such things to Satviki Mataji. But let's see how he introduces it and sees what's going to be her response. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Mataji.
Krishnadas. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Mataji, I
Krishnadas.
just wanted to talk about something. Do you have some time, Mataji?
Yes, Krishnadas. Please tell me. I have always the time for
Yeah.
students.
Thank you, Mataji. I thought you would be busy. So, Mataji, this new teacher, okay, should I continue, Mataji?
Yes,
This,
yes.
yeah, this new teacher, Mataji, she was watching
Hmm.
a movie. And when I
Hmm.
went in the staff room, I saw the screen. It was actually a movie and one of the latest movies we see over internet. So it is, I mean, this
Okay,
teacher,
Krishnadas. Is that what you wanted to say?
Mataji, yes. You see, it doesn't look good
Okay.
now in a school like
Well,
ours,
that
Mataji.
wait. Hold on. First of all, Krishnadas, you should not peep into your teachers' mobiles. You should not peep into other people's houses, homes, and their lives like this, Krishnadas. You are a student. This is not a good habit. Is that clear? Having said
Yeah.
that, Krishnadas, it's also important to look at our own progress, yes, rather than looking at other people's progress, that to your teacher. Krishnadas, please understand that all the teachers here are definitely trying their best to give you the best. Yes? So
Yes,
sometimes
Mataji.
we may have faults, all of us do, isn't it? But remember,
Exactly.
Krishnadas, the story of the fly and the bee?
Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
So do you
I
want to be
do.
the fly or do you want to be the bee?
Of course,
It's
Mataji.
your choice, whatever you want,
Yes.
isn't it? So Krishnadas, come on, have you finished your work that I gave you this morning?
I'll have to do some,
Come on,
Mataji. I'll have to
run
go for
and go
that.
and finish that and come back to
Yes.
me. All right? Okay.
Okay,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Fine. Thank
So
you.
that was it. Thank you very much, Krishna Das, which is not
Yes,
Krishna Das, it is actually our Parvesh Prabhuji. He is
yeah.
Parvesh Prabhuji, who is our teacher in Bhaktivedanta Gurukula and International School. So can Parvesh Prabhuji now talk about what we did, and also tell everybody what the objectives were?
Yes.
Parvesh Prabhuji, over to you.
Yeah, so Mataji has already made it clearly in such a manner that I have nothing left to say. But I would like to share the objectives, and I want the permission to share it only if you allow me with that
Okay.
Krishna Das ID. I request the
Yes, I
host
have
to.
allowed.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Now, these were our objectives, and all our objectives are achieved except the second one, which is polling, and that's what we are going to do. So here we should all be able to distinguish between the teaching and disciplining styles in the three modes of material nature, as already presented by Mataji. Teaching and disciplining, they cannot be separated, because a good teacher can be good at disciplining students. Now, in different modes, how a teacher should act, this has been shown with 3 examples here in front of all of us, and we should be able to judge where we act in goodness and where we act in passion and ignorance, and what is dominating our behavior and our actions. Then the second one is that
So we'll
we are
do
going to
that
take
now.
part. Yes, we'll do that. And
Yes.
the third
The third one also I will mention. Yes.
yeah, the third one also, Mataji will take care of this. This isn't speaking activity. I mean, of course, everyone can speak now. Like you can give a feedback in the last, towards the ending. And so here we should all be able to speak on how different modes of material nature, they affect our teaching, and why teaching in goodness is always better, not only for us but also for children. This is what we should be able to speak, or at least write about it. Yes, that's it, Mataji. So now I want Parvesh Sharma to be the host, so that we can start polling. Okay,
so
just for a few seconds. Can Parvesh Sharma be the host?
Yes.
Okay, not Krishna Das.
Yeah, you are the host now, Parvesh.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So looks like it's not coming.
Not able to do that?
Yeah.
I am doubtful it can work.
Okay.
It has to be the main host only who has to have polling, I think. If I'm not.
He is the host only.
Yeah, but
no, one who has started the meeting, Mataji.
Okay.
All right, so we missed that.
Fine, and that's okay. It can be done later sometime.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question, Mataji.
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna. So we have here the Vice Principal of Bhaktivedanta
Hare Krishna,
International School, Dhanvat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji.
These objectives are for this session?
For this particular session.
Whatever listed there?
Yes.
So I have a reservation about the second objective. Is it okay, or it needs any?
Okay, let's go back to the objective in that case.
Okay.
Which we didn't do.
Yeah, which we didn't do, but as an objective.
Okay,
so,
as an objective, more of
I have the questions with me, and if you permit, then I can ask them to reply in the chat box. What do they feel?
Okay, so what Prabhuji is trying to say is the second point is a procedure which will meet the first objective, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Okay. Leela Prabhu?
Yeah, so my point is that as an objective, from the student's point of view, or is it like, I'm not clear about the second objective, Mataji. Can you make it a little more clarified?
Yeah, we did this even last time. when we had 3 objectives, I asked Shamlata Mataji to put the second objective with one, and we didn't do that. Actually, this is not an objective. This is a procedure which can be clubbed with the first one. It's a procedure where
it's a
students
procedure.
will take part in the poll and judge the teacher's performance in class.
That I
it
agree
is
with.
helping them, identify the modes of nature, right? That's a procedure. It's an act.
Yeah.
And Mataji, but judging here will be an objective.
Judging, in the sense, see, the judging is an activity which is helping them distinguish between the different modes, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, and we are tapping that level of thinking, a higher order level of thinking. Most. Thank you.
So Mataji, if we are sharing to the students like
Yes.
our objectives, so
Yes.
how I don't think we should. We don't. Is it the right objective for the student point of view?
So if you want to share these objectives to the student, with the students, so the second one will fall in the procedure column, where you have a separate column for procedures. What are the different procedures that you're going to employ? So, role play was one, polling was another, like that.
Maybe I am not correct, Mataji. I'm just about the words used also, because sometimes from the student's point of view, we don't ask them to judge the teacher's performance in that sense as well.
No, Prabhuji, it's not about that. No, we will not ask them. Yeah, it's just for this class and this particular.
Exactly, that's what I am just trying to. Because
it's not about teachers' performance judging. It's about judging the 3 teachers who are personifications of 3 modes.
Okay.
That.
Okay, teachers' performance means the what they have acted, like,
Correct.
Yes.
The effectiveness of their
that's what effectiveness. I was thinking that word may be much more suitable. Effectiveness, teachers' effectiveness.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that discussion, which makes things clearer to everybody. So can we stop sharing this, Parvesh Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you very much. And I'm so thankful to Parvesh Prabhuji, who took the effort of creating all this and agreeing to actually participate in role play. Thank you so much.
All my pleasure.
Okay.
Yes.
So we move on, and so there was one active. So role play. After role play, there could be polling, which unfortunately didn't work. That's another way, another procedure, another variety in teaching. That was take the poll, and then here another activity which students can do and y'all can do also is write a paragraph on your experience as a student or as a teacher when you face one of these modes of nature, right? So you can write from your memory. Do you remember of any teacher who humiliated you? Do you remember some teacher who actually took a long way in your progress? Do you remember a teacher who was totally indifferent, who didn't make any difference to your life that way, but because they didn't correct you ever, you didn't learn what's right, what's wrong? Or you as a teacher, do you have anything to share, whether these experiences you have had in class? This is something which I would like all of you all to do, and like last time, you put it on the group. You can please post it again, so that it creates a very interesting it's an interesting impression that way, because it helps all of us understand this in a very practical way. Yes, through our own experiences. Right. And for those of you who are really disappointed that, oh my God, I shout so much at my students, or I actually raised my hand the other day. Some of you may be thinking, yes, so maybe I'm a teacher in the mode of ignorance, I'm a teacher in the mode of passion, or some of you might be thinking that I'm a teacher in the mode of goodness. But then please understand, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that these modes of nature are constantly competing against each other. Yes, similarly, we as teachers are, one day we are in the mode of goodness, the other we are in the mode of ignorance, and some other day we are in the mode of passion. Right? So this entire exercise was for us to analyze our teaching and keep drawing ourselves more towards goodness, just as in other activities. Yes, as in other activities, we consciously become aware of our own teaching styles, our own, our own the kind of speech, the style of speech, the style of communication, the body language. All of these are very important as teachers to learn. Right? Okay. Thank you very much for that. And let's move on. Let me go to slideshow. Yes, that was Tamasi, Rajasi, and Satviki. So please, one of you all may read this, and it's kind of a summary for, and also forms the basis for the next discussion. Please, one of you like to read this. And if Hema Mataji is around, please read this because she reads it well.
The children should be trained in early rising, attending Mangla Aarti, some elementary education, arithmetic, alphabet, some of our books like that. They should go to bed by 8 p.m. and rise by 4 a.m. for Mangla Aarti, getting 8 hours sleep. If they take 8 hours sleep, they will not fall asleep during Aarti. Just a second, Mataji, it looks very small for me at this stage. Yeah. When they get up, they should wash with a little warm water, at least 3 times wash face. They may sleep 1 hour in the afternoon and there is no harm. Encourage them to chant as much japa as possible, but there is no question of force or punishment. If there is need, you may shake your finger at them, but never physical punishment is allowed. Try as far as possible to discipline them with love and affection, so that they develop a taste for austerity of life and think it great fun to serve Krishna in many ways. Rising early and Mangla Aarti. This is enough austerity. Besides that, let them learn something, chant, dance, eat as much prasadam as they like, and do not mind if they have playful nature. Let them also play and run. That is natural. It is nice if they eat often. If children overeat, it doesn't matter. That is no mistake. Letter to Aniruddha, January 10, 1972.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji. So here we see Prabhupada is bringing out discipline, and he's also bringing out an important aspect, that is engagement. So this today's session was divided into 3: respectful and engaged, and then finally responsible. So now we are going to talk about a little bit about engagement. Yes, and like you've seen, discipline through engagement is much easier. Yes, proper engagement, and that's possible when you have a lot of variety in your teaching. And remember, the variety need not be chaos. Yes, so just for the sake of variety, no, it's a planned variety. It's a variety which helps children uh, keep that momentum, keep that attention amidst all the distractions that they have around them, right? And that's the objective of variety. Also, it should be relevant. The engagement should be relevant. Like we saw how Das was arguing. Yes, he couldn't believe it because he says, in the age of 2020, what are you telling us? So how relevant can we become to them? That's another important aspect of engaging them, and the clarity part of it, right? So also very, very important how clearly you engage them. Yes, whether whether whatever you're asking them to do, is that clear, or there is a lot of scope for confusion and your own speculation. That is something which the teachers need to be very, very careful about. So now we are going to have an interesting activity, which is whole brain teaching. Yes, you remember today's session is all about variety. So we'll have something called as the whole brain teaching. Now I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and I have some students in my class today, and they are all going to turn on their videos. Yes, these are my students, and they are going to uh, respond in a classroom very interestingly. Let's see if Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji can put them all on focus, a spotlight, if is that possible. So we have Okay, if it's not possible, then I think you remove me from spotlight so that they at least we have a grid. Only Shama will be on spotlight. Let's see what is whole brain teaching. Okay, so our students are Shama Vallabi Mataji, Sonia Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji, Rajeshwari Pran Mataji. Okay. Is everybody there? Hema Mataji, are you there? Now only Lakshmi Mataji on spotlight. So how can we, Prabhuji, I think you should have a grid or something like that where everybody is there on, at least, you know. On a physical space, these things are, you know, we take so much for granted, isn't it? And now there are so many challenges we have on an online platform. Yeah, see how it works. Okay, we have Shama Vallabi Mataji on spotlight, and I hope the others at least can see them all. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so whole brain teaching. This is an interesting phenomenon recently developed. And this, I think somebody, there is a lot of background noise. Yeah, thank you. That's the Parvesh. Okay, so whole brain teaching, it's a high energy kind of a teaching where the teacher is constantly engaging the children. Yes, and this works very well when your students are, you know, extremely active, or it can be a part of your entire session. Okay, children are bored sitting in Bhagavatam class for a long time, you're going on and on and on. So you can have a 15 minutes, which is whole brain teaching. And the way it works is the teacher has set some rules with the class. So for instance, in this class, you will see when I say, children,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Children,
Mataji.
children,
Mataji.
Okay, so there is a way they respond to each of my, I say children in whatever tone, and they will respond accordingly. Okay, so now we're having this class where I am going to teach some basic things about Bhagavad Gita. Yes, so I enter the class and I say, children,
Mataji.
good. We are going to learn something very interesting today. We are going to learn some basic facts about Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now what you are going to do, children?
Mataji.
Yes, is that you're going to listen to some facts about Bhagavad Gita and some signs which will go with these points or facts. Okay, so when I give you the points and then I will give you the signs, you will listen very carefully and you will also see very carefully. Children,
Mataji.
and then when I give you the sign, you have to give me back the point. Is that okay? Give me a Haribol.
Haribol.
Okay, so here we go. The first point is that Bhagavad Gita is a book of secrets spoken by Lord Krishna to his dear friend Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita is a book of secrets spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Okay, you're getting there.
Bhagavad Gita is a book
Spoken by Lord
to his friend Arjuna.
Hey, children!
Mataji.
Good. Let's see the second fact. Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. How many? Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses.
How many?
How many?
Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses.
Hey, children.
Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita contains 5 subject matters. Bhagavad Gita contains 5 subject matters. Okay, get this again, children.
Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita has 5 subject matters. Okay, Brajeshwari Mataji got it right. Yes, going good.
Bhagavad Gita has 5 subject matters.
Good. So now listen to these subject matters, and then when I give you the subject matter, I will also give you a sign. So you have to listen and see carefully. The first one is Ishvara. Yes, the first one is
Ishvara.
Okay. The second one is Jiva. The second one is
Jiva.
The third one is Prakriti. The third one is
Prakriti.
The fourth one is Kala. The fourth one is
Kala.
Fifth one is Karma. The fifth one is
Karma.
Okay, now let's see how you go about it. Children.
Mataji.
Children.
Mataji.
Ishvara.
Jiva.
Jiva. Kala. Karma.
Prakriti.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much for that small demonstration. Thank you very much, Matajis.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
All right. So this is whole brain teaching, which I took a very simple topic, and for teenagers, whatever topic is relevant to them with high energy, you make them, and you can also explore whole brain teaching yourself and see how we can engage this in Krishna conscious learning. Because, Krishna conscious learning, we also have certain facts to memorize and things like that, which teenagers may find it very monotonous. So this is an interesting way of going about that. Okay, so let me go again to my slide after whole brain teaching. Remember, what we are doing today is variety in teaching and disciplining, using the understanding of different modes of nature. Now we come to the third section. We're running short of time. That's the final one that we're going to talk about. Yes, that's helping children take responsibility. Now here, one of the Matajis had questioned in the previous session that we can give only as much as we have, but we would like to raise them higher, right? We can, how do we do that? And yes, it's very important that they take responsibility for their own learning. Yes, so in a way that you empower them, you give them that platform where they will grow. So for this, some of these points are very important to keep in mind. The first one is, don't rush to give them solutions, which very often most of us teachers, we do that. We feel that we know everything, and we don't wait for the children to figure out for themselves, right? So the second one is, believe in their potential and act on that belief, even if you don't see the results immediately, right? So most often teachers, they label some students and they say that no, he or she can't do it at all. So instead of doing that, please be patient. That's the whole idea about the second one. With patience, you can see how children grow in their own responsibilities. The third one is, give them free will and let them see the results of bad choices. So of course, this with a lot of discretion, it's not always, but yeah, for small things, we should do it so that they understand that if they make a wrong choice, then it's going to really harm them and no one else, right? Okay, and the last one is teach them goal setting. And this is something which we have to do on a very regular basis, where you set goals, but which are realistic, and then help them translate that into actions, track their progress, and set up a regular accountability, which is, we feel sometimes, not important for Krishna consciousness, not important for Sunday schools. Yes, after Sunday is over, teachers gone, students gone, and we meet only the next Sunday. That's not a great idea. Okay, so here what we're talking about is, unless you have a regular accountability, need not be in the form of grades and things like that, but there are interesting ways of evaluating children on their understanding both short-term and long-term goals that you have set. Okay, and to understand this aspect better, what better example could be than that of Srila Prabhupada, the way he empowered his disciples, the way he gave them responsibility, right? And for that, the only thing that comes to my mind is this beautiful picture where we have these couples, three couples, these fantastic devotees who were empowered, how they took responsibility that was given to them by Srila Prabhupada and went and started from the scratch in London, and they established the ISKCON society in London. And this is a perfect case, perfect example to see how a teacher actually empowers or helps the students take responsibility for their own learning. Now, this is something which we need to consciously work on. How can I see my student, my child, keep growing and taking up more and more responsibilities for what? For their own learning, right? So that was my presentation on these different sections today that we have discussed. And sometimes it may feel very overwhelming, right? It may feel that is there so much? This seems to be very very difficult or discouraging. Do we have to do we have to think about so many things before going to a classroom? So for this, I want to tell you all a story. Yes, the story is that of a man, a servant actually, who was working for a very rich person, and he had been working for him for a very long time, and it was time for him to retire finally. So when it was time for him to retire, he was very sad, and he was almost in tears. And his master, he saw him and he said that, what is it? Why are you so sad? The servant, what actually he was thinking was, I have slogged all my life. I have worked so hard for my master. But now that I'm retiring, I really have nothing. I don't know what am I going to do tomorrow. Yes, I worked on meager salary and I don't have any savings. How am I going to survive at home? Who will take care of my dependents? All these kind of thoughts were coming into his mind, and he was depressed. So the master, he said that, you are very sad. You know what? I have something to show you, something to tell you. And he says, come with me. And he takes him to a room where the servant sees that there were a whole lot of pots there kept. And these pots were full of money. And he had covered these pots very neatly with a sheet. So when the master, he opened that sheet and the servant saw this and he says, what's all this? Why are you showing me this? He thought that it was the master's treasure. The master says, well, I have given this to you. This is all yours. So he says, how is it mine? I never had this kind of money. So the master says, no, this is your money. Every month, I would take a part of it and I would keep it aside. And I was waiting to give this to you when you would retire. And today the day has come. So all this is actually yours. It's not mine anyways. It's yours. I've just kept it here. And the servant was so happy. He said, how did you think about it? How could you think that, yes, they will come, and I never thought about it and I couldn't save. So the master says, well, that's my responsibility. So, this is to give a comparison between this master and servant. What we've just heard is actually Krishna and us. Krishna remembers each and every service that we are doing, and he is taking care. He's taking care of it in the sense that he's noticing every single thing that we're doing, right? And like this kind master, he has kept it all aside to give it to us at the right time, right? When it's time for us, to leave, and then Krishna will surely not forget. Keeping this in mind and taking that hope, we should take up this difficult service of teaching children, each one of us and more, because this is the need of the hour. There are people doing a lot of other things, but teaching children in Krishna consciousness is one of the services uh, which is not so easy, as in you have to sacrifice a whole lot of things. So my sincere request, and also my my request is not just that you continue in your teaching, but also I should continue in my teaching and my interest of teaching children, especially through Srimad Bhagavatam and other Krishna conscious literature that we have. We continue to maintain this, retain this interest, and try and serve this mission of Srila Prabhupada in whatever capacities we can. I think I must stop here. If any of you have any questions, please ask. If you have any comments, please say. And also, I would like to hear from you the structure of today's class before we go in for your opinions. Let me see if you have a structure. Can you mark it the way we have been discussing? Yes, over to you. Think about it.
Mataji, the icebreaker is when you asked us the question about like that question that why we see that children are not that disciplined these days as they used to be in the earlier days.
Right. So what was that?
The icebreaker, Mataji.
Icebreaker. Yes, that was an icebreaker in the form of a challenging question. Thank you. Yes. Please continue, Mataji.
Okay. So, and then Mataji, the activity, the middle part when you brought that Prabhuji for like a demonstration. That was a demonstration for us, and
that was a role play.
Okay, role play. Yes,
yeah,
Mataji.
it's a role play. Demonstration is slightly different from a role play. Demonstration is when you're actually doing it, yes, through as an experiment or something like that. But yeah, you demonstrated it through a role play. Yes.
Yes, Mataji, and even that part when you brought in all the other Matajis as students and you showed us how to actually
that was
do it.
demonstration.
That was demonstration. Yes,
right.
Mataji. That would be demonstration. And then Mataji, wrap up was with the story that you just told us,
right.
which was fabulous, and we are so grateful to you for sharing all these pearls of wisdoms, Mataji. We couldn't have found it anywhere. And honestly, I hope that we can like repay you in some way by becoming sincere students of you.
Hare Krishna. That's very kind of you. That's
So
very
thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, Priya Mataji wanted to say something.
Yeah, we have dreams to spread the Krishna consciousness through your teachings, everything. Even I feel, when I dream, I feel so many things, but that should happen, and Krishna's blessing should be there to spread Bhagavatam everywhere. And, in my school also, I have lots of plan after Corona. Let's see how it goes.
Very nice. Yes, after Corona, we're all waiting. When is that after Corona going to come? Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Mataji, so it's like by Krishna's mercy, I told you the Bhagavad Gita session, but then my class is really big, Mataji. It's like 120 students, and managing online, it's like crazy. When I unmute people, they are all like, Mataji, I can tell the answer, I have a question and all that. So Mataji, and trying to tell about the faith, yes, when I was telling all stories of Dhruv Maharaj and all, they couldn't believe, and about the holy name. And one child questioned me like, okay, in this Corona, so we don't have to wear a mask, right? We can chant Hare Krishna and go, so we won't get Corona. So how do I manage such kids, Mataji? Like, how do I, the faith thing, what you told about the speaking elephant and things like that. So should I give them specific references.
Yes. Most definitely, you should give them response, the correct response. And if they say that things like this, that we should remove our masks, we don't need to wear masks and things like that. So please tell them through stories. You please tell them how it's important to use our intelligence always. Yes, Krishna has given us. I think in the last class only I mentioned this story. I told the story about this creature in the water which didn't do anything and kept its mouth open, and a worm came and fell into its mouth. On the other end, and the devotee got inspired by that and said the same thing. So you can say exactly, oh, this is exactly what the devotee thought. What you're saying, this devotee thought the same thing. He saw the worm underwater, this creature underwater, and saw it did nothing. And so the devotee decided to just sit and fast. But what did Krishna
Haribol
say?
Mataji.
Sorry.
Regarding this, Haribol, regarding the same experience that Mataji is sharing, I had heard in one of the sessions that one devotee was careless about his body while means about his whole body while he was on the road. Means he was traveling, maybe walking, and he was not aware about the vehicles passing by. So then the co-devotee with him told that you should take care of yourself. So the first devotee said ki Krishna will take care of me, and I'm he will take full care of me. So the co-devotee said ki this body is given by Krishna to you, so you should be fully aware of it and should take care of it because it is important, and you are going to use it to serve him. Because you are a brahmachari, you will be using to serve him, so you should take proper care of it and not misuse it in any other way, and be careless about it. Okay,
Right.
Mataji, sorry I
That's
have disturbed you.
No, not at all. So she was very eager to tell the answer because it's a right example, right? Sanjeevani Mataji has given us a very right example of how to answer, and you have to answer children like this. But I know, yeah, there are so many children, it may be a challenge, most definitely. But
Yes, Mataji. So what I'm trying to tell them is just give them some taste to chanting, because I observed that they like sponge, Mataji. They just absorb everything, and I was so happy that they are all chanting, and all the parents are like so surprised to see them chanting. So I thought of just giving them some taste to chanting, and I unmute all of them and all chant together. And it's nice, Mataji, to
very nice.
experience. But
You are
yes,
enjoying.
I liked your example how you gave for Kala, Prakriti, Jiva. I'll try to implement such things, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I missed that, ma'am, Mataji, when one of the Mataji asked that in her session, some of the student asked, that means if you chant, you need not have to wear the mask. What was the reply? I missed it, that, ma'am, if you can just...
No, she was asking that question, that how to respond to these children in that case. That was
so
the...
what was the response? You're
So,
going to tell now only.
So one Mataji was telling how important it is to use our intelligence. She gave a very nice example of how these two people who are driving, and one of them devotees, and one of them did not, he was driving very recklessly, not paying attention. So the other devotee said that, please pay attention, and he says that no, Krishna will protect me. So it's like, almost like, okay, Krishna will serve me. Yes, but then the devotee reminded him that no, your body has been given to you by Krishna to serve him, to use it in his service, and you're not taking care of him. That's going to be carelessness. So yeah, we can answer similarly. We can also answer through saying that, yeah, Krishna has basically given us all of these different faculties to use. Yes, not to just keep them idle, or yeah, take service from him. Okay.
Mataji, that story of yours when that creature just opened the mouth, my son had really enjoyed it. It was such a funny story for him. And he learned also. Thank you.
Thank you. So is there anyone else who would like to share something? Okay. Thank you then, if that's all.
Sulakshana Mataji wants to share something, Mataji. Sulakshana Madhvi Devi Vasi.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I had a question, Mataji. Mataji, I wanted to ask, is it better to always have a facilitator when a group of children are studying or learning Bhagavatam or any scripture? or is it okay to be just stand behind and moderate and allow them to kind of explore it themselves? What do you
Other
suggest?
ways is okay. I mean, if they are reading on their own, if they're motivated enough to read on their own, that's fine. Uh, Children who are coming from devotee families, they already know the basics, they are reading, that's okay. But if you are doing something like this in a Sunday school, then you don't really know, and you don't know the background that these students are coming from, then I think it's important for you to sit and read with them, see what's going on, how do they like it, are they getting it the right way. It's always good to be a facilitator there.
Okay.
It depends completely on the situation, but reading Bhagavatam by itself is definitely good either way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Don't
Thank you.
discriminate. Yeah, if they're enjoying, let them.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So, would that help in inculcating independent study skills also, Mataji?
Yeah, why not? Why not? If that's what I said, as long as they have some basic understanding, then there is no harm absolutely in if they're reading on their own. And teenagers, we are supposed to be inculcating this self-study habit among them. So there is no harm.
Because there's also this thought that if there is a facilitator, maybe they can help them take it to the next level.
Yeah,
take their understanding to the next level.
That's there. It's always good to have a facilitator who can who can help them think more than what you said, take them.
Okay. Yeah. So a balance would be the best thing.
Yes, I
Probably.
mean, if it is a culture that they are going on reading, at least you can do something like let them present.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so then you know that they're reading on their own, fine. But let them present something in the form of a class or in the form of a some presentation on a certain topic which is there in that section that they're reading. If they can do that, you know for sure, okay, that they are going on the right track. Let it go this way. And by encouraging a sense of competition and cooperation among them, among the students who are all reading together, then they will read it with more interest. You can have a quiz with them. You say that, okay, we've read so much, I'm going to organize a quiz now. And you can get them quizzing each other. You don't have to be the quiz master. You don't need anybody. You can help make them quiz each other. Now, this is another variety where one group makes the questions and the other group is answering. The other group makes questions for another section and the other group is answering. So in this way, you get an idea whether they're going on the right track.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was very helpful.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have small doubt from parent perspective. In the third point where we have that helping children to take the responsibility, I feel from my side while teaching the children, I'm like giving their time to think on their own and creating a platform to do. But with my children, I'm rushing and trying to give the solutions and do that, do this. So how to come out from that?
Yeah, it's hard in the sense as mothers, we are a little different than what we are as teachers, isn't it? That's true. But consciously keep trying, understanding fully that's going to help them. You'll have to give them that responsibility and not jump to but then you have the advantage of time with your own children. Yes, with other children you have a fixed time somewhere once a week or whatever, or even if it is school every day, that's also some fixed time. But with children, if you have the, and you should create that advantage of time, sometimes it's not so obvious. So when you have that advantage of time, take that time out to explain things better to them. Yes, explain in what way, not spoon feed, but explain to them the importance or of taking responsibilities or examples and stories and things like that. I think that will help slowly. That will help them to take up more responsibilities and for their learning. Yes, responsibilities as in for their own learning.
Thank you.
Mataji.
Thank you. Yes.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're
Yeah.
audible.
So, Mataji, sorry, actually, I couldn't attend your last couple of sessions, but the overall, it was really awesome in terms of starting with the icebreaker and role play, demonstration, wrap up, the brain teaching, and these three instances in terms of role play, Tamsi, Rajasi, and Satvi. That was really nice. It was really hilarious. Mataji, I just had one question quickly. So when I'm teaching to the children, they are more enthusiastic and they will learn, and doing many different things, like as I mentioned to you earlier today morning as well, the Kahoot quiz and all that. But when it comes to my children, it is like they will not be inspired what I'm doing, and they will not much take part in it. So it's like there's a saying in Hindi, "Ghar ki."
मुर्गी दाल बराबर है.
So I just wanted to see, check your views on how I can inculcate and how I can inspire my children as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very true. It happens quite often that we get very involved with other children, and our children, because they're so familiar, yes, they're so familiar. Oh, and same is the case with me when my children know that okay, she's up to some more planning, she wants to do this, she wants to. So they get sometimes. So there are two things. One is they are seeking some time and attention from you, which it's good if you can give that time and attention. Second thing is because they know all of this, they know that you're going to trick the children into doing this, or you're planning for some activity. They know all this beforehand, so they don't get so excited. So the way I have tried to handle this is involve them as much as possible in my own plans and ideas also. Like today also, when I was planning, I said, Dhruva, can you play something in the background when we're doing a role play? Can you play the guitar? So he got excited and he sat with me. And then when he saw what was going on, he was so amused that today he said that I want to attend the entire session that you're going to take. So I said, fine, attend. So he didn't play the guitar eventually, but then yeah, I try to involve as much as possible. So I think we have to give them that edge there, in the sense that they may not want to do what the other children are doing simply because they feel they're there. But if you involve them with you, and get them do activities with you, for you, help them plan your, like for instance, even when I was doing my teenagers class, I asked my elder son, who's a teenager also, I told him that you prepare the entire syllabus course plan and put it up on a PowerPoint. So he did that entirely. He designed it. He put what, okay, he said that maybe you should have this also, this also. And I had not told him anything. And I was quite, I said, oh, it's very interesting, which I really found interesting. I said, I never thought of including this. Why would you want to hear this? Why would you add? Because he's talking from a teenager's perspective. So I think the more we involve them in what we are doing, they are more receptive. And of course, association also matters a lot. So give them association of like-minded children and get them do challenging. So like I mentioned in the last class, teenagers, they love challenges. So here what happens with our children is they're no longer challenged enough. They feel this we know, this we already know. What's more? Okay, does that help you, Prabji?
Yeah, Mataji, thank you so much. This the involvement part, yeah, definitely we are doing in terms of like Kahoot quiz. My daughter or my son generally they help me in making that quiz, and but it happens like they will do for a couple of times and then they'll say, okay, now you only prepare it. So it's like definitely the part which you mentioned in terms of challenging part, I need to really inculcate that in terms of every time having something challenging for them. So something new and something different.
Yeah, and you should give them also surprises. Yes, don't let them know all that what you're doing. So I rarely discuss my they also attend our teenager sessions, and I don't discuss what is going to be in the class. I tell them it's going to be a surprise, so they want to attend that way. So I think if we keep that element of surprise, in the sense that keep for them also that importance, that freshness of Krishna consciousness, if they continue to have it, then they'll show the enthusiasm. That's, I think, all that I can say. I'm sure you're doing much more, Prabhuji.
No. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Clarify.
All right, I think, is that all?
I think Prabhuji is doing wonderful seva in Bombay,
Yeah.
taking care of 8 to 12-year kids. So it's good
Right.
to have the participants from all over India.
Hare Krishna, very nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. It was once
Okay.
again a wonderful session.
Thank you.
We
Hare
look
Krishna.
forward to the next
We
one.
will conclude here. Hare
Hare.
Krishna. Okay, so in the next class, Shama Vallabi Mataji and Lakshmi Mataji are actually going to demonstrate a few things from Srimad Bhagavatam. So they will start with, the first canto. So now you're going to get practical tips on how to identify themes, how to create activities based on those themes. We are going straight to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll look forward to the next class as well. I hope all of you join and invite many other devotees as well. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.